A young boy named Shiki Toono wakes up in a hospital after an accident and claims that he sees some red lines that are drawn all over the place. He met a sorcerer after that who gave him a pair of glasses, and when he put them on he couldn't see the lines anymore. Years later, Shiki is now in high school. He goes to school as usual and finds out about a series of murders happening in the city, and the bodies have fang marks on their necks. During lunch, he tells one of his seniors that he is moving back to his house because his father died and his younger sister wants him to move back home. Shiki is in a dreamlike state while walking home when he kills a woman in the park and passes out himself. He wakes up in his house where his sister greets him. Shiki finds that his sister has strict rules at home about everything, and he can't go out after 8. Shiki decides to sneak out and witnesses a murder, but he again wakes up in his room and thinks maybe it was a dream. On his way to school, he passes through the park to check the blood stains, but instead finds the woman he had killed yesterday. He is terrified to see the girl, and when she comes near him and says that he sliced her into 17 pieces yesterday, he runs away from the scene. He is terrified all day and gets scared in school whenever someone touches him. When he reaches his house after school, the girl from the park meets him outside. He runs from there instantly, but she follows him and corners him in an alley. She tells him that after he killed her, she revived herself because she is not human, but before she could say anything else, 2 black hounds attacked them, which the girl easily beat. She takes him with her to a hotel and says that she is a vampire named Arcueid, and she wants his help in finding another vampire. She says the murders happening in the city are not her doing, and that there is someone else with whom they need to fight. They are still in the hotel when the hounds attack there again. The hounds belong to a vampire named Nero, who is killing in the city, and he starts killing people in the hotel. Arcueid is weak from Shiki's attack, so they have to escape from the scene instead of fighting. She then says to him that he has to help her even if he doesn't want to, because the vampire has seen his face, and he will continue coming after him. Shiki wakes up at Arcueid's place, but can't remember anything. She says that he passed out as soon as they came in, so he might forget because of that. Arc says that she never expected to be attacked so soon, and she is keeping him alive, because he will keep her safe. She says that when he goes against Nero, the vampire will be no match because Shiki is a born killer. He remembers his conversation with the sorcerer in which he told her that everything he sees with lines gets destroyed. She had asked her to put on the glasses and not take them off till the right time came. The news about the attack on the hotel brings him out of his thoughts, and he is shocked to find that his friend was at that hotel too. Arcueid later explains to him that there are 2 types of vampires, Shinso, who are pure-blooded vampires, and Shido, who are the humans that got their blood sucked by a vampire. She tells him that Nero is a Shido. She then asks him about his ability, and he tells her about the lines. She says that he has mystic eyes for death and can see a person's time of death. They then plan to kill Nero, and agree that Arcueid will lure her out and Shiki will attack. When they reach there, Shiki unexpectedly gets attacked by the hounds, but he manages to kill them, and then he kills Nero before he could do anything to Arcueid. She kisses his forehead saying he did a good job. In the morning, he wakes up to find himself in bed with all his wounds bandaged. Shiki goes to the dining room where Akia asks him where he was last night. Shiki says that he was with his friend, and he has some important matters to deal with. Akia says that he can go anywhere, but should tell them so they will not worry about him. The maid Hizui suggests that they throw him a welcome party which everyone agrees to, and Shiki promises that he will be back before 6 p.m. Shiki goes to the school after that, and is shocked to find his friend Yumi there alive. She tells him that she was planning to go to that hotel, but she got a fever, so they stayed at home. Shiki comes back home, and they eat their celebration dinner in a pleasant environment. Later he meets Hizui's twin sister, the other maid in the kitchen, who tells him that Akia is very happy to see him, and that she even stayed up all night when they were treating his wounds. After hearing that, Shiki goes to Akita and says that he is sorry for not calling for 8 years, and that he is proud that she is so grown up. At night, he dreams about Arcueid wanting to drink his blood. The next day at school, Arcueid shows up out of nowhere, and when every student is talking about her, she waves to Shiki, excitedly, much to his embarrassment. Shiki runs out of the classroom towards Arcueid and drags her away. He asks her why she is here, and is worried about what he will tell his friends about her. When Arcueid says that he can tell the truth, Shiki says that it is not possible because he can't introduce them to a vampire who goes around killing people. She is very shocked to know that he still doesn't trust him, even though she told him that she doesn't drink human blood and reminded him of this factor. She then says that she has to hunt more vampires, and when he agrees easily, she asks him to meet her at the park at night. When he reaches the park at night, Arcueid tells him that they need to look for a vampire known as Roa, who has abandoned his body in pursuit of eternal life for his soul and reincarnated himself. As they are walking, they find a dead man walking, and Arcueid instantly kills him, saying that he was working for Roa. The next day at school, Shiki's senior seal invites him for tea and warns him about Arcueid, saying that she is dangerous and he should stay away. He doesn't listen to her and meets Arcueid again and again, but he accidentally scratches his arm, draining out blood, and Arcueid runs away after seeing that. Seal meets Arcueid and says that she can't fight her instincts and that her limit is approaching soon. She says that she just wanted to warn her. Shiki gets ready for school and goes to eat breakfast with his sister, who makes sure that he eats well. She seems to be happy that he is getting used to living here. At school, Shiki overhears students talking among themselves about 3 students who say that they disappeared last night and might run away. He discusses that with his friends at lunch, who are surprised that he didn't know about this. They plan a trip to an amusement park. Arcueid meets him after school because she wants to go to the movies with him, but he refuses to say that he has to go back home. When she says that she wants to go to his house, he refuses to say that he doesn't want his sister to get the wrong idea about them. He says that he is not here to play around with him and goes away. At home, Akia invites him for tea with her and says that he can have the TV if he wants, even though she doesn't like noisy things. Later, he manages to sneak out at night and goes to meet Arcueid. They encounter the 3 students and find that they have been the victims of Roa and are now working for him. After a fight with them, they manage to kill all 3 of them. They go for a walk after that, and Shiki promises Arcueid that he will take her on a date someday. Akita decides to go to an amusement park with Shiki. When he asks her about the sudden decision, she says that she has to keep an eye on him, as she caught him coming home late last night. Shiki says that if he continues to do that, she will have to put on the CCTV cameras because she is worried about him. They reach Shiki's friends and he introduces everyone. Akita doesn't say hello to Seal and says that she will not get along with her. Seal reciprocates her behavior by saying that she has the same thoughts. They continue to bicker on the whole train ride. When they reach the amusement park, Shiki says to his friend that he is thankful that he didn't bring Arcueid, but to his surprise, she is waiting for him there. The group goes on different rides, and they enjoy them while Shiki gets sick and sits out for some time. Later, when they are eating, the 3 girls start to argue over Shiki. Yumi finally gets enough of their bickering and shouts at them to stop it, which makes them instantly quiet. They all decide to go to an onsen where Yumi says that she envies Arcueid because of her beauty and how Shiki cares about her, but she reveals that she is not a human, so she can't have a normal relationship with her. Meanwhile, Seal talks to Akita and says that she thinks their family has a lot of secrets and that Akita is not human because she smells different. Akita storms off after hearing that, asking Seal to tell her brother that she is gone. The next day at lunch, they'd find that a girl has been murdered at the amusement park, which weirds them out because they think that they were near the killer. When Shiki goes back home, he talks to Akita and says what happened to her because she is acting unusually. He asks if something happened with Seal, but that makes Akita angry and she storms away. But before she could go very far, she collapses. The maid Kohaku says that she will be fine, but Shiki still stays with her all night to check up on her. The next day, he meets Arcueid and tells her that he will not be coming with her for a few days. He then goes to school where Seal invites him for tea and says that he should let things stay normal for now. When he comes back home, he is shocked to find Akita drinking blood from their maid. When he goes to meet Arcueid later, she tells him that Roa is not necessarily a man, and it can be in someone who has inhuman blood. Shiki's suspicions about Akita being Roa are getting stronger. In the evening, he follows Akita and finds her hair turning red, which shocks him more. Later, he goes out where he is attacked by a man who gives him a strong hit on his chest and reveals that he can also see red lines. Seal comes out of nowhere, forcing the man to back out. Shiki is in pain because of his chest wound and stays in the bed. He dreams about a voice calling him, and when he follows the voice, he reaches the middle of the woods where he sees the dead bodies and he gets the knife he has now. He wakes up with a jolt and finds Akita sitting beside his bed. He tells her about the dream, but she doesn't pay him any mind and asks him to tell her what he has been doing lately. Shiki tells her that they were investigating the serial killings and looking for murderers. Akita is not happy with this information. He later asks Kohaku about the house, and she reveals that the Toono family has inhuman blood, and whoever has the highest ratio gets to be the leader, which is why Akita can't control her thirst for blood. As Akita is out, he talks to Hizui, and she agrees to let him enter Akita's study, where he finds some keys. He then searches for the door in the house. He finally manages to open the door, but to his shock, it leads to a dungeon, where the words "Help me" are written in blood. He sees the silhouette of a little boy from his memory, and when he follows that, he finds that there was another boy, Shiki, the same as him, but he had killed him when they were little, and his father had hid him in the return, sending him to the hospital. When he comes back home, he is numb. Akita sees his condition, and after finding the truth, she reprimands her maids. Shiki is still in bed as his chest still hurts, but when Akita tries to approach him and knocks on his door, he doesn't reply to her. In the morning, he wakes up to Arcueid's voice and is surprised to see her there. She says that he didn't show up last night and she waited for him until this morning. She then asks him to keep his promise and take her on a date. He agrees with her, and they go out to explore the city. They watch a movie, go to the aquarium, and do other different activities to enjoy their day. After that, Arcueid asks him to take her to his school. At school, they are sitting in a classroom, talking about useless stuff. Arcueid gets serious and says that she is scared that she might go back to sleep again, and when she wakes up, Shiki will no longer be here. Shiki understands her fear and promises to go on another date with her when everything is over. After that, they go to the tea room and Shiki asks her about Seal. Arcueid tells him that she was Roa's incarnation, and she destroyed everything at that time. Arcueid killed her, but she can't die now and is chasing Roa to redeem her sins. As they are talking, they are attacked by Roa's people. They fight with them, and Arcueid kills them while Shiki gets sick. The blood brings out Arcueid's vampire nature, and she goes to attack Shiki, but Seal saves the day again and sends a sword to separate Arcueid from Shiki. Arcueid runs away from there after that. Seal tells him that she is a Shinso, and it's very hard for him to suppress her thirst for blood, and she is almost at her limit. Seal tells him that there was a tribe called Moon People, and they had a princess called White Princess who was very pure, but an incident happened and Roa gave him a rose with the position, and that cast a spell on her. Now she wakes up for a short period of time only to kill Roa. Seal says that Arcueid is the White Princess. After hearing that, Shiki goes after her but instead finds Roa and Akiha. Roa is the man who attacked him last time, and he reveals that he is also the child Shiki remembers from his childhood. The siblings then fight with Roa, but he seems to have the upper hand. Seal interferes again and saves them but gets killed while Roa disappears, saying he will be back. Seal's wound heals itself and she comes back to life again. When they come back home, Akiha says that she hides so much from him and gives him their father's diary so he can know the truth. In the diary, he finds that he was adopted, and when the original Shiki and Roa went insane, he was placed by his side. Roa had almost killed him in their childhood, but Akiha saved him by sharing half her life. After learning, she goes to meet Arcueid and sleeps with her. When he wakes up, he is alone in the apartment with a note saying bye-bye. Shiki goes to find Arcueid, but instead meets with Seal, who says that she can't let him go knowing that his life is in danger. He is determined to find her and asks Seal about her whereabouts, saying she must know about it. Seeing that he is serious, she decides to help him, and they go to find Arcueid. They go to school where they find Arcueid in a battle with Roa. Seeing that Shiki gets furious and attacks Roa, he starts a fight with him. Roa is strong and overpowers Shiki, but Seal causes a distraction, giving Shiki a chance which he avails of, and he kills Roa after destroying the walkway they were standing on. Seal also disappears and Shiki is the only one left in the school. Shiki comes home after that and tells her that everything is over. He goes away after hearing her cry and saying sorry to her brother. Shiki then goes to the same tree he went to in his childhood and meets the sorcerer. He asks for her name and she says it is Oko. He thanks her, saying that she taught her a lot of things like a great teacher. He comes back home after that, surprising Akiha, as she had thought he would not come back now. The next day at school, he finds that no one has any memory of Seal. After school, he sees Arcueid, who says thanks to him for keeping his promise, and then disappears again after saying bye-bye.